Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about Glaminatrix and how they made me cry. If you're interested in hearing this story and seeing a look, just keep watching. I'm so glad you guys decided to stay. So just a little bit of story time before we get into anything. It's no lie, Glaminatrix did make me cry. Just to kind of tell you what happened, I was on a kick of watching people's collection and declutter videos because I would like to do a collection and declutter of my own. And I was just kind of seeing how people do them and how they work it out, or, if they do a little bit at a time or whatnot. And I kept seeing this palette from Glaminatrix over and over again. And every time I saw it, nobody got rid of it, nobody decluttered it, but every time I saw it, the cover just did something. There's a reason. I'll show it to you in a minute. Any of you guys that have been with me for any length of time, while I was early on my YouTube journey, I went through a really tough time and I lost my stepdad. I call him my dad. He is my stepdad, but my dad passed away when I was 16. And when Jim came into my life, I was 17, and so shortly after my dad passed away. And it didn't happen right away, but he became my father, and he treated me like his daughter, there was no step involved, And as I got older and I had children, he became grandpa, and he was my dad. Without getting too teary-eyed or start crying, he just meant a lot to me. And he got cancer, and it was already spread throughout his body, and he passed away very quickly. And it was probably the most traumatic thing I ever lived through because I pretty much took care of him. Stayed up 4 days straight in a row and gave him his medication every 2 hours and until he passed. And because he passed away in his home. And so he was a farmer. And he loved the outdoors. He loved farm life. He was a farmer through and through. Even when he got a job at an ethanol plant, he was still a farmer and he was still planting things. And he had a huge pumpkin patch and he would grow pumpkins and the kids would go out there and help him pick pumpkins, or they would pick out their own every year from Grandpa's pumpkin patch. And then he would load up a big old trailer and he would go and he'd give them away. He wouldn't even sell them. He could have sold them, but he didn't. He gave them away. He'd take it to work and let all of their families come in and pick pumpkins. Okay, pick pumpkins out for their families and everything. And that's just who he was. And when I saw this palette over and over again, I honestly think that I haven't went through the grieving process very well with this time. It was just completely different than some other people that I was close to that passed away in my life, which would have been my dad. I was so young and I didn't, even though he was my dad, I just didn't have the bond with him as I did with Jim. Also, I lost my grandma and I did have a extreme bond with her, but she was 90 years old and it was just different. And so I wasn't ready to lose Jim, and the grieving process came very difficult for me through this. But there was just something about this palette. Every time I saw it, it just made me smile and it made me think of Jim. And I started searching for it. And when I found out that they don't make it anymore, I was like, I started looking on Mercari and all the resale sites, and I just started stalking and trying to figure out where to find this palette. Well, Glaminatrix one day had made a post, and the question on the post for Glaminatrix was, if we brought back some palettes, what palettes would you like to see? And I read in the comments that somebody had said this one, and they said, well, maybe we'll bring that back in a smaller version. And I was like, oh, they're going to change it. And so because I figure, smaller version means different packaging and everything. What I did is I DM'd Glaminatrix, and I never do this. This is totally out of my character, but because I don't know who Glaminatrix are, I haven't had a talking relationship with them or anything like that, like I have with Nomad or Gourmande girls or something like that. So I reached out and I just said, hi, I just want to see if it is possible that you will bring back this palette, not to be strange or anything. I just want to explain to you that the palette actually, I'm still grieving over losing my stepdad, and it just reminds me of my stepdad. And I would love to buy one. Like, I would just love to buy one of these palettes. And because it just makes me smile. It makes me think of him every single time. You know, please, I hope you don't think this sounds strange, you know. I just, every time I see it, it reminds me of him. She messaged me back. We started talking. She was sympathizing with me because she had went through something similar with her mom. And okay, there's going to be a lot of jump cuts in this because I have to pull it together. One thing that she had mentioned is that there's not too many people that you ever meet that actually goes through what the both of us has been through. It is one thing to be by somebody's side whenever they pass, but to have to take care of them and be their caretaker while they pass is a completely separate thing. You don't get to leave. You're right there. You see everything. And when they're in the hospital or they have certain nurses that are in taking care of them or whatnot, you can step away. And it's not the same whenever you're their caretaker. And so, and not sleeping and, you know, taking care of somebody 24/7. It's just a different experience because I've been on both sides of it. You know, it is very rare. And we connected over that. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through this video. She then proceeds to tell me that she has an extra one and she wants to send it to me. And I said, well, please let me pay for it. Can I pay for it? Can I pay shipping, whatever? And she's like, absolutely not. I want to send it to you. I had no clue she had one, which blew me away. And for her to just offer to send it to me, I started bawling. I was actually in the bathtub whenever I was messaging her. If anybody knows me very well, they know I love my baths. And so I was in a bubble bath, just sitting there chatting back and forth, and I was bawling. And I was just and I'm like, this, and then I had to stop for a minute and go, this is so crazy. Why am I bawling over a palette? Like, why is this so, why am I so connected to this palette? Like, I don't get emotional over palettes, you know, kind of. I was just floored. And her generosity makes me want to share this company with you guys because, wow, I know that this isn't your experience, but if you know me, I would never want anybody to feel like I was asking for something. I would never be like, oh, let me tell you a sob story so you'll send me something. Absolutely not. And that was not what I was doing. I was literally just telling her this palette I have a connection to and I want to buy one. I probably would have bought it at double the price. If she said, fine, I have one, but you're going to pay double the price, I'd be like, okay, do you have Afterpay? I'm serious. But why I'm telling you all of this is that this is a great company. And I'm not just saying that because she sent me this palette. I'm saying that because she connected with me on a level and she did this out of the kindness of her heart and she didn't have to. So, and I would have paid double the price if she had Afterpay. No, I'm just kidding. So I put that out there because there's so many companies that we can purchase from. Where are we going to spend our money? You know? And so this is the palette. And this is Jim. Like, this is Jim in a picture. And honestly, I think it's going to take me a long time to get through this video. You won't see it because I'll cut it all out. But not only does the scene remind me of Jim, but it says, you beauty. And Jim always thought I was beautiful. Literally, I have to keep stopping this every 2 minutes. This is literally why I have had this palette for probably 2 weeks now, maybe going on 3 weeks. And I haven't been able to do it. And I know this is why. I don't mean for this to be, you know, a sob story video or anything like that. I'm just opening up. I'm sharing with you from my heart, and hopefully I'm hoping that that's something that you can take in and just take it for what it is. And because I may not be as bouncy off the walls silly as I normally am, but this is who I am. So just that it says you beauty, and the scenery, just every time I see it, and I know that I'm getting teary-eyed now and I'm having to stop and cry and come back on, it really makes me happy. I know it's just a palette, but sometimes things can spark healing. Maybe this is the start of healing. You know, doing my makeup, and I'm a collector of makeup, so it brings me joy, it brings me happiness. It's something that I put my creativity into. It's an outlet for me, and to be able to pick up this palette and think of him, I think that's just the start of maybe every time I do, I'll be thinking of him. And so, yeah, now that I shared all my heart, all my guts with you guys, my heart, my soul, my guts with you guys, I'm going to put this on and we're going to create a look. I really haven't even seen anybody create a look with this. I didn't want to. I just want to open it up, look at the color story, and just create whatever comes to mind of what I want to create. I want to create with this. Let's go ahead and take it and open this up. This box is going to go up on I have a shelf up there with special boxes like my first PR boxes and stuff like that. The things that I've gotten in PR that means something special to me. I have the box of the palette that I created with Gourmande girls up there and stuff like that. So this one is going up there so that I can see it every time I walk into my room. So it's just, it's beautiful. It's amazing. And thank you. Thank you, Glaminatrix, a company that I want you guys to hear the name of it, because I am in full support of this company, and I would hope that you would want to support them too. You know, these are small little indie brands. This does, anytime you order from them, it is going to be a little bit more expensive if you're in the US, because she is in Australia, so she has to ship, and so we have to pay the international shipping prices, kind of like, you know, whenever anybody else is ordering from overseas or anything like that, that they have to pay the international shipping also. So sometimes us Americans can get a little stressed out about how much the shipping is, but we got to think about all those people that have to order from us, and they pay through the nose sometimes. So, you know, I've opened my eyes to all of that. But all right, let's get into this, and I'm going to go and prime my eyes. And when I come back, you'll be zoomed in. So I'll see you in a few. Okay, you guys are all zoomed in.
You're welcome.
And this is what this beautiful palette looks like. I'm just going to do some quick little finger swatches. I know this one is going on my eyes. Gold, orange, duochrome shift. It's so beautiful. That one is G-Day. And then we have Flaming Galan. That might have to go in my eyes too. An icy white pink with a goldish flip to it. A goldish green flip to it, actually. Green. Oh, that's like a multi-chrome. That's beautiful. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh, I'm using this. I'm using this. I'm just okay. The Struth right here. I'm gonna use that yellow. That's going on my eyes. And then Whoop Whoop. It's these are some of my favorite like shimmers, and they have these kind of like in a they have them kind of in a glitter too, but it comes off a little bit more. It's more of a topper. It's just yellow to pink. My friend Riri would love this color, yellow to pink. That's her two favorite colors. But it kind of feels like when you apply it to your eyes, it's beautiful. It's just so soft. And then we have Budgie Smugglers. Super pigmented. I'm super excited about this. She'll Be Right. Ooh, lavender, like super cool tone, smoky lavender. Goodness. And then Old Mate. Another multi-chrome. It shifts from green, gold, and it has almost like a chocolatey brown shift to it, or maybe a little hint of red to it too. It's gorgeous. I didn't even realize how beautiful it was. It was really about the packaging for me. And so to get this and see how beautiful the shades are makes me even more excited for this palette. Okay. And then Fair Dinkum. Oh, look at this and the quality. And then Stitch Up. Beautiful. Chalkers. Ooh, icy lavender goodness. Oh, the shine on that is beautiful. Bloody Oath. Oh, look at that color. I love that. Oh my goodness. Straya. Now, Straya looked like it was swatched, but it's not. It actually came broken a little bit, and I just repressed it. It was super easy to repress. I didn't even have to push on it because it's super soft. And it came all the way from Australia, so I was very happy that that was the only one, and it really didn't even go anywhere. It just kind of loosened up in the pan, and I just pressed it back down in there, and it is another shifty shade. Oh, teal, and it has a little bit of a green shift to it. Yellowish green shift to it. It's so stinking pretty. Love, love, love this palette. I'm super excited. It's honestly going to be really hard to pick which colors I want to go with. All right, so I'm going to enter in the pictures of these shades as I go along so that you guys can see the color of the shadow as I'm applying it to my eyes to compare on how it looks in the pan versus on my eyes. Went in with a rounded fluffy brush and I'm going to go in to stitch up. I'm just kind of keeping it a little closer in. Sometimes I like to wing it out a little bit, but I think I'm just going to keep it right tight in around the edge of my eye there. I'm not trying to go too far in. You see, I'm picking up the shadow on my brush and just kind of tapping just to map out right where I want to place that color. I don't want to go too nuts because I want to make sure that I am putting everything where it needs to be even. And I'm going to go in with a little bit more fluffier rounded brush, and I'm going to pick up Struth, which is that mustardy yellow. And I'm going to take that over and I'm going to blend it into that brown, but I'm going to take that over and put that for all over the eye. Because we're going to go back in with some of those fun colors and layer over top of this yellow, but we're not going to cover all of it up. Just taking the edge of that brown and pulling it inward, and then we'll add a little bit more brown in there just to kind of mix it in, darken it back up so we're not lightening up that brown too much. So I'm going back in with that first brush, putting just a little bit more, not a whole lot more pigment, but a little bit more, and just kind of combining it with that yellow. And then taking that brush with just tapping into the yellow again, and again, just achieving that blend. So far, these shades are blending beautifully together. They're playing nice together. We like it when they play nice together. Okay, kind of get that gradient look. And then I'm going to do the same thing over on the other side. Okay, so I have the yellow and the brown all mixed together, and it blended gorgeous. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so of course, the fun part, my duochrome passion is about to, and multichrome passion is about to be fulfilled. So I am thinking I'm going to take this one here, and I was going to try to incorporate this one, but I think there's too much pink, and I don't think that that's really where I want to go. So maybe I'll put a little bit of this one in with it, but we'll just kind of play it by ear. Okay, I'm going to pick it up on a brush. I love to use my finger whenever I am doing a shimmer shadow, a duochrome, a multichrome. I love to use my finger because it gives you the maximum amount of pigmentation typically, but I'm going to go ahead and try a brush this time, and if I'd rather have it amped up more, then I'll just use my finger. Okay, I'm just going to take this little flat brush here, and I'm going to go into G-Day. It's so stinking pretty. So pretty. Oh my goodness, so pretty. It just looks gold on the screen for you, but it is definitely a fire orange, like a reddish orange that glows with a gold. It's so pretty. I'm going to spray it because it is a little bit more of like the flaky formula. So I think that if I sprayed it, it's going to super foil it, and I love a super foil look. It's exactly what it did. After a while of playing with shadows all the time, you start to learn the different formulas and what works best for them. Gorgeousness, gorgeousness. I wish that that orange would show up better on the screen. And now I'm going to go into Whoop Whoop, and it does have a little bit of pink shift to it, but I'm going to spray this also, and I'm going to put this on the inner corner of, oh, it has a little bit of blue flip to it. Oh my goodness. This shade totally caught me off guard because it looks like a yellow to pink flip, but it actually has a little bit of blue in it. That totally surprised me. I'm going to use my finger. Super, super pretty. Okay, so now that I got the shimmer on the top, let's look at what we're going to do on the bottom. Let's take a look here. I'm just going to take this small little rounded brush. I think I'm going to go in with Fair Dinkum, which is like a really dark navy, or I would say a cobalt maybe. And we're going to take that on. Got a little bit of fallout there. Hopefully I can get that to behave. Taking that in about a little over halfway, and I just smudged the blue. No. Even though I sprayed it, it still had some fallout, but that is not the palette's fault. It is mine because I love to pack my brush. I don't tap it off. So that's just my choice. So you can't base typically palette fallout. I won't ever hardly speak on because I can't say it's the palette because it's how I apply my shadows. Okay, now I'm going to pick up Straya, which is that shifty blue shimmer that I repressed, and I'm going to connect that blue. That is a stunning shade. Oh my goodness. Yes, love that shade too. Really loving this palette. And then I'm going to go into that Flaming Gala and pick that up on the tip and spray it. Very pretty. You can't see the red, but it like glows. It's like a glowing red. It's so stinking pretty. That is so stinking pretty. There was somebody teasing me about saying so stinking pretty in the last video, and I do. I say it a lot. I say so pretty or still so stinking pretty a lot. Now I'm going to pop off here. I'm going to pick out an eyeliner and a highlight, and then I'm coming back to start something new that I'm going to start doing in videos. I've had a request to show how I pick out my lipsticks to match my eye looks. And so instead of doing a video dedicated to just doing different looks, because I'm not sure how I would do that because each look has a different way I pick out the lippy for it. So I'm going to start to show you how I pull and how I pick my lipstick colors to go with my eye look. So we're going to do that at the end of this video, and I'm going to start doing that at every end of the video so that since it was highly requested by multiple people, I thought, why not just show it on camera every time I do an eye look? So wait till the end for that, and I'll see you in a few. Okay, guys, I have the Kaleidos Prophecy highlighter on, and I love this highlighter. It actually goes really nicely with the shift in the shimmers on my lid, so really enjoy that. And then I also put on in the ColourPop gel liner in Charmer in my waterline, and it's kind of like a really dark eggplant purple. Okay, so how do I pick my lippies to go with my eye look? I don't always try to go matchy-matchy. I try to just kind of go complementary. So really, the bottom colors on this eye look aren't matchy-matchy, but they complement each other. So I kind of want to do the same thing with my lip. I don't have to go matchy-matchy, but I want it to, again, complement the colors that are on my eyes. So how do I do that? How do I start looking? Do I get it right all the time? No, but it's just easy to take off and put on a new one if you don't like the look of it. Mainly if you're trying a new color out, maybe it's just not your color, and it's not that it necessarily doesn't match up with the eye look, but it just may not be your color. So I'm just going to pick up a really dark chocolate brown, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to put it like right there so I can look up at my eye and look down at my lips and go, okay, that will go really well. Let's put that aside. And then I'm not a big supporter of, oh, you have a bright eye, so you need to do a toned down lip kind of thing. I think that it just all depends. And sometimes I do a bold eye and a bold lip. Sometimes the look calls for a bold lip with a bold eye. So I think that you have to get some of those cliche type rules out of your head and just really trust yourself on what you think looks nice. And sometimes you need to look at other people because sometimes we get stuck in our boxes to where we just, we get stuck in a box where we think, oh, well, that won't look good on me. But if you see it and you see a similar eye look with a lip and you're like, oh, I wish I could do that, try it. Try it on yourself, see if you like it. And if you don't, you can always remove it. Okay, so here's one from Black Moon Cosmetics. It's called Grave. It kind of has a little bit more orangey red tones to it, but it is darker. So sometimes I'll just use the container, but if I don't feel like it's showing off the color very well, I'll pull it out and I'll just do this. Okay, I like that one too, so I'm going to set that aside. These are going to be my options. This is a Fenty Lippy in Freckle, and I'm going to roll this up. It's an orange, and I do like how that looks. So I'm going to set that aside, and then I have, this is one of my favorite little lippies, so I always pull it out. Most of the time, if I think it might go, I just pull it out and look. And see how that changes the way this look is. Those were a little bit darker, more of a warmer tone. This is a little bit cooler tone, but I do have that bluish green underneath where I could pull in some cooler tones, but I think this makes this look too springy. And if I was going for that look, I could add this. It goes with the look. It may contrast just a little bit, but it's okay as long as it still kind of is cohesive, but it takes it to a spring level for me, and that's not what I'm looking for. Here is a nude color called Haunting. This one does look lighter in the container than it does on the lips, so I pull this out. It's more of a dusky mauve, and I do like the way that looks, so I'm going to put that as a contender also. So what I'll do is I'll narrow them down at the end if I don't keep liking them all. And this is another one called Willow. Okay, I don't think I like this one as much as I like the other ones. And the reason is too pinky. I think that it'll be too pink. I'm not looking for that tone. I just don't think it complements it as well as some of those other colors did. So I'm going to put that one back. This is a nude color that I absolutely love. It usually will go with anything. And if I wanted to make it a lot more pared back, I could go with something like that. But I still think too pink in color. And I just don't think that it's going to complement this look as well. Okay, I have some Alien Cosmetics that I wanted to pull. I have Jeanette. These are fun colors and their formula is amazing. See that? Mustardy yellow looks really good with the top part of my eyes but it's a little bit darker. I really like how this looks with it. And this would make it more of an edgier look, definitely with this lip. So if I'm going more edgy, then I would pick this lip. We're going to put that into the contenders. This one is kind of like that one in the sense that this one is called Mandy, but it has a little bit more green tone to it. And it does go. I could wear it. I'm not looking for that type of look. So this one is not, it's not going to be in the ones we're going to choose from. This one is Kaylina. I've worn this one quite a few times too. I love the color of this one. This one definitely will be in the selection because it is that orangey brown. Okay, we're going to put that over to the side. And then the last one I pulled was Eva, and this one is a super nude. And this one would look nice, but I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so these are the ones that I really think that will go really nicely with this look. So now it's a matter of going two at a time, and I'll do this. Okay, I'm really looking back and forth between the look and the lippy. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to say, okay, which one do I like out of those two? And I think I can go with a little bit orangier one. So that one sets aside, I put the other one over here. Then I take the next one in line and I do the same thing. Okay, that's kind of a purplish brown, darker. And then I take the one that I picked out of the two. Do I like the orange or more of the purple? And I think I'm still going with the orange. Okay, now Battle of the Oranges. I really like this one a lot with this look. So I think it's going to maybe beat out my Alien. I kind of like the orange because it's like a pop of color, but it really goes well with the overall theme of the look. This is that. I really like that a lot. So this one is a super dark chocolate, and I really love this one too. I love the way this looks with this look. Very close in color. This has just a little bit more red tone. So I'm going to eliminate this one because it has a little bit more red to it. So we're down to the last two, guys. Orange. Chocolate brown. I think I'm going to go with chocolate brown because I want the richness. I'm going to line my lips, apply the lipstick, and I will be back for the final look. See you in a few. Okay, guys, this is the final look. Okay, do you see how that just really plays off this eye look? You would think that this is such a dark lip color that it would take away from the eye, but honestly, I think that it makes the eyes pop more. So I love this look. I love this palette. I am so super excited to have this and so honored that Glaminatrix would care and want me to have this palette, and I will cherish it forever. Absolutely cherish it forever. And I will absolutely love and support that company because of the kindness that they've showed, and just, you know, that is something that just won't go unnoticed. most in my book. So I am so sorry. It was so emotional at the beginning, but I thought it was important to share the whole story behind this palette. And yeah, go out there and support these wonderful indie brands that have so much to bring to the table. And I tell you what, my love for indie brands has started since I started this channel. It has never went away. I have found out that these indie brands have better quality overall than any of your high-end, low-end, mid-brand, drugstore, all of it beats it all out. And to think that these smaller indie brands are, you make a difference every time you make a purchase with a smaller indie brand. You make a difference because most indie brands are one person behind the company, behind the scenes, making shadows or ordering and designing palettes. They are their own financial and tax person. Typically, maybe not all, but most of them are. Plus, they are their own social media managers. So they are talking to everybody online. They are taking care of order issues, or they're answering comments, answering questions. Plus, they have families and they have lives outside of this business also. And when I did the palette with Gourmande Girls, I saw how much work goes into it. And I saw how much work goes into just social media and sharing out the palette, making posts and swatches, planning the reveals, having photography done. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for every launch when it's a one-person show. So love on your indie brands and give them a little bit of grace if something comes up where it's not, what you had expected, or a broken shadow, or it doesn't arrive right when you want it, or whatever it may be. Look at the whole scenario and give them a little bit of grace. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you guys all have a blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye.
In the ColourPop lipper or ColourPop, I